Hello and welcome to Funny Science Fiction, the live edition. All right, well, welcome to the Funny Science Fiction live edition. The show where, well, this is a side gig for our editor, and he took the day off. No, literally, our editor took the day off. He's not here today. Nick is taking the night off this week. Kathleen will be taking the night off next week. So
I'll be the free elf.
Yeah, so we'll be we are a little light on the Nick side today. We'll be a little light on the Kathleen side next week, but we will manage through because we've got some awesome guests waiting in the wings for us.
But before we get into tonight's show, we need to thank our show partners, River City Teas and Level Up Lightsabers. Let's go with River City Teas.
With over 700 designs to choose from, River City Teas has something for everyone. Need some new nerd merch? River City Teas has you covered. Need funny or sarcastic designs? River City Teas has you covered. Are you looking for a new logo or custom design? Whether you need 1 or 100, River City Teas has you covered. With multiple colors and options for each and every design. With things to choose from like shirts, hoodies, phone cases, coffee mugs, and so much more. Be sure to follow River City Teas on Facebook and Instagram. If you do, you'll get the latest on designs and information about upcoming sales. River City Teas. Let's make a shirt together.
Got a good groove to it.
It does. It's got a little head bob. You know, you get down to it a little bit.
All right, that is one of our show sponsors. Next up, Level Up Lightsabers. All right, links for both River City Teas and Level Up Lightsabers can be found in the show notes and comments section. I would also, though, like to take a moment to show off one of the promo pics that I got done with my Level Up saber. If Tim can pull that up.
Working on it right now. Hold on one
Because
second.
it's awesome. So my good friend Nicholas at Nichols Media and I had fun playing like kids again and got some pretty cool shots. We also have more coming in the next few months. But please check out his stuff on Instagram and on YouTube. He's got some pretty cool things, and I cannot wait to share more. Like, legitimately, playing like kids in the snow again. It was so much fun.
So how many pictures did you take, actually?
A lot.
Okay, because I've only seen like 2 or 3 of them, I think,
there
so
are
far.
only 2 that we've released so far. His camera was not enjoying how cold it was outside.
Fair enough.
Neither.
I don't enjoy it how cold it is either, so I feel you, camera. We're good. But I really do like that picture. That's awesome.
It's a really cool picture, and we have got some pretty cool things that we are working on. I'm excited to share more.
Our co-host Nick is commenting from the cheap seats. Oh.
It was so much fun.
Ooh. Yeah, those are cool. I can't wait to see the rest of them. So
yeah, but legitimately, guys, Nichols Media on YouTube and on Instagram. Please check out his stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. If that's quality work he's doing, I'm curious to see what else he does in other venues and other areas. That's really cool. All right, guys. Also want to remind you that if you haven't done it already, please do as the little ticker tape things, or this banner, whatever it's called, doing down there at the bottom. And remember to like and subscribe. It helps us out greatly. And if you really feel like it, you'll have an opportunity to help us and support us in another way. If you've already liked, you've already subscribed, then you have the opportunity, if my buttons will work here, because it's a Monday. Why would anything work? It's a Monday.
We were doing so well.
We were off to the races. Golly, we were doing great. But since it is a Monday, and anyway, but if you've already liked, you've already subscribed to Funny Science Fiction Podcast. If you don't mind, buy us a coffee. you can buy us a coffee with the link shown in the chat right there. And that is a monetary help to help us continue to make content and afford the little things that, well, cost a little bit to do what we do and bring entertainment to you guys each and every week. But if you do that, we'd greatly appreciate it.
Sorry, I just saw a YouTube comment. Never mind. I'm not laughing at that one.
He's not wrong.
He's really not.
No,
I can't argue with him.
No, you're darn near professional.
I've had lots and lots of practice. All right, but tonight we would like to welcome our dear friends Jason Taylor from the Three Geeks Podcast and Ben Reilly, aka the Hearty Healer on TikTok. Welcome!
Hey guys.
Hello. It is an honor to be here.
On screen.
One of my new favorite things to do with my friends is Tim and I yesterday in our private chat, we were talking. I like to get with people that are my age, and then the two of us explain to each other lingo that teenager
old man explains.
use.
Oh,
we spent like two hours, like about an hour, trying to figure out something that we didn't understand that happened earlier because we're not hip enough.
And what was it?
Well, we'll talk about it off air. It's an off-air topic.
Oh boy.
But the fun thing about it was I was honestly getting ready to message Jay, and I'm like, because I didn't understand it, and I'm like, then all of a sudden I looked out at my phone and it's buzzing. I'm like, oh hey, all right, cool. I'm not the only old guy who didn't understand. All right, here we go.
And then at the end of the conversation, I'm like, I should have messaged Kathleen. She's a lot younger, and he's like, no, she's old by default because of John.
Old by default because of John, because I don't socialize with people, because people are icky and gross, and
they really are.
There's always that.
Anybody who follows me on Instagram and TikTok realizes that my newest friend yesterday was a brown paper bag puppet that I made with my daughter. So
I was fully expecting to see that tonight. I'm not even gonna lie.
I was really bummed out when I found out Nick wasn't going to be on the show today. So I have a mustache that I will occasionally put on when I'm not talking in honor of Nick, because people think I'm sarcastic, but Nick's one of my favorite people on the show.
I see the Grogu versus Snorlax comment there. Just gonna point out that Grogu has thrown things probably 4 to 5 times as heavy as Snorlax, but Snorlax does have a hyper beam. Grogu didn't take the lightsaber, so
he's gonna get a dark saber.
He could also just force sleep Snorlax to sleep.
It might. According to John, the big drama in your house today is that you're out of Paw Patrol episodes and have to start over from the beginning again.
Oh, no. I will be in here for a very long time now. I'm sorry.
She has retired from parenting, and
oh no, this podcast suddenly became a 24-hour stream.
Wish to be excluded from that narrative.
Exactly. All right, so hey guys, before we jump into our topic, take a moment if you would. And although we introduced the name of your show, and for Ben, where we know you from, if you wouldn't mind, please take a minute and talk about where people can find you and what your content is. Ben, we'll start with you.
Okay, then. I was about to hand it off to Jason, but that's fine too.
And
hi. Hi, I'm Ben Reilly. I have a TikTok it's called Hearty_Healer, or just Hearty Healer. I do a whole bunch of random content on it, sometimes cooking, sometimes Star Wars. I made a video about that guy. Name is Bonk. It's hilarious. There's a bunch of them. Yeah, I just do the TikToks and I'm a nerd. Which, speaking of, I have a show and tell that I want to present.
You want to do that now?
Do it.
Absolutely. I've been dying to since
Go
the
for
moment
it.
you invited me to the podcast. 1 second.
Well, while you're getting your item, I'll have Jason do a quick intro.
Well, when I am not listening to Pop Culture Addicts, I am recording Matt Talk with my buddy John. Nice. That's awesome.
Hold on. I don't have my headphones on. I can't hear anything.
That is spectacular.
$30.
Where?
Facebook. I don't. This is a random person's thing that they just had on their wall, and they were selling it, and I'm like,
poop. I'm like $30. I'm in. Yeah.
Oh,
how fast can I get to you to get it? Yes.
It is so amazing, and I love every single thing on it. The little R2, The only thing that I'm disappointed about is that the foils don't open up. So it's just like this. But I'm gonna get some like metal wire and little hooks and hang it from the ceiling like as it's flying.
Yes.
And a different person. Hold on, let me put this down because it's just vacuform plastic, but it's like bulky. But a different person is selling a TIE fighter. So I want to do the same thing and get little like acrylic.
Make it look like it's
sticks.
chasing it.
Yeah. I want to hang them from the ceiling with little acrylic sticks as like the blaster bolts and just have them going through the sky. Oh my god, I'm excited.
Shayna would never let you do that, Tim.
That's why I have Nerd Manland here away from home.
Whereas I currently have a lightsaber hanger in my Amazon cart because it needs to go there, like above the window, above our bed. Lightsaber, great.
How much are you spending on that? Because you can get like broomstick holders for like.
It's like $8, but it's because it's the clear acrylic.
Okay.
So that when this beautiful thing is then placed on it.
Ooh.
Nice. Nice.
It's my friend.
All right. Very cool. Thank you for sharing that, Ben. I am almost not jealous. That's a lie. That's a lie. I'm completely jealous.
$200 and it's yours.
We might talk. Anyway,
selling. Oh god. Oh no. I don't know if I was serious about that.
Well, yeah, you don't play chicken with a train unless you're ready. All right, Jason, go ahead and finish up what you were telling us.
What I was saying was when I'm not listening to Pop Culture Addicts, and if you're out there and you want a podcast that you can listen to with your grandmother, I talk about Three Geeks all the time, but if you want something you can listen to your grandmother or grandfather with, or something to listen to while you're eating pudding or yogurt, I have the podcast for you. Me and John Orlando, we do a Matlock podcast that airs twice a month. I'm 100% serious, Ben. We do a Matlock podcast twice a month that's got a huge following, and we've actually interviewed cast members. Nancy Stafford was the latest, and you guys should check that out. Matlock. We're going to bring it back. We're going to do a reboot of Matlock.
Okay, so for a hot second there, I thought you were talking about Pop Culture Addicts, and
I was very concerned. I'm like, come on!
I'm like,
just because we interviewed Ed Begley Jr. doesn't mean we're old.
Dude, that's awesome. Like
it really was. It really
was. Ed was really cool. By the way, that's out right now on Pop Culture Addicts. If anyone is interested in checking out interviews with Ed Begley Jr., you can check that out. Shameless plug for another podcast that Kathleen and I do. All right, so cool. Yeah, check out Three Geeks Podcast. I was on their show on Sunday, had a really nice chat with April Rose Gabrielli and Kulik, some musical artists who have some amazing stuff out right now, and you guys are going to need to check that out. Check out Matlock that he does with John Orlando. Really good stuff there too. It's perfect podcast to go to sleep by, and while you cuddle up with grandma.
It's quirky and funny, but
it is actually.
Yeah, you could tune in to Three Geeks yesterday and listen to the interview that we did, and you can also listen to Tim fight with Max about Star Wars. And for a brief second during that final part, you can see me turn my shirt into a bikini top and dance behind Max. So tune in.
That was troubling.
Three Geeks.
That was very troubling.
You had me, and then you lost.
Well, we were talking about bikinis during the interview, so I thought it'd be funny.
Yeah, it was appropriate. It was appropriate, germane to the conversation. I think that's what I wanted to say.
Yes, we are, John. So. It's called Murder Talk, and we've already got it planned for 8 years down the line when we finish Matlock.
There you go. All right, cool.
Find out when we do a Diagnosis Murder one. There we go.
That'll be after when we're actually going to be the right age to like these shows as much as we do.
There is nothing wrong with Diagnosis Murder, as I have the DVD case right there.
Welcome to Diagnosis Talk. My name is Jason. I'm joined by John.
You have to do it before Dick Van Dyke dies, though. So
now our teeth are gone, but we're here podcasting. Welcome, Tim.
All right. So the reason why we have these guys here,
we have a reason.
We do actually. So last week we had some great guys on. We had Jake the Jedi from TikTok, and we had Joey DiCarlo from So Wizard Podcast on. And our intention was to originally we were going to talk about the season ending of the Book of Boba Fett. We were going to talk about theories and things pushing forward, but there was so much content and trailers that had come out post Super Bowl that we couldn't get to as much of it as we wanted to. And so,
Stop
lost.
it, John Wass.
Is he Hooba stinking it?
Yeah, excuse me for a minute while I go slap him.
No, leave the microphone on. We want to hear it. Anyway.
Just have him come in the room.
Right?
We need that content. We need
John,
that smack.
I need you to come here for a minute so I can slap you.
John is recording Paw Patrol talk right now with my daughter.
See if he
no, that means he's just listening. She's talking. So, all right. So for tonight, since we really didn't get a chance to do as much of that as we wanted to last week, we thought what we'd do is we'd pick up where we left off last week, and we'll start off with some talk about the Book of Boba Fett. We'll look at how that leads into hopefully some things on Mando for season 3, how that may even touch on a little bit of Ahsoka, and in a separate section, because these shows should in no way overlap, the story of Kenobi and what's going on there and what we're looking forward to there, and anything else Star Wars moving forward that we're hoping to see. So we're hoping for some cool theories and chit chat tonight, and please feel free to enter your thoughts about our topics into the comment section. We'll get as many of your comments on the screen as possible and have some interaction with you guys. So really looking forward to this. So I guess what we'll do is we'll start right off. Ben, I'm going to start off with you. The end of
softer. I can squish it.
I know. I need to go grab one of the cuddly ones I have. Well, my daughter has, but whatever.
Stay.
All right, so let's start with you, Ben. What were your thoughts on the entirety of the Book of Boba Fett and the ending, and how do you feel about it?
Oh boy, I loved every second of it. The moment the title music started, I'm just like, "That's it. This is my life now."
Right?
But just, I love the show so much. Like it feels, this is going to sound very confusing, but it at the same time does not feel like Star Wars, but is the most Star Wars we had in a while.
That actually
Okay.
It's very much like, just like the first impressions of like the first episode of Mando. It's a Western. That's it. It is a Western with a Star Wars paint job.
kind of
and
how
that
like,
is
the Orville is
the-
the best Star Trek.
What's up?
It's kind of like how the Orville is the best Star Trek. That's very
Yeah,
similar to
actually,
how I felt
That is
about.
that's a very good description of it.
You've now hurt
What have
Jason's
you done
feelings.
to me? Why did you do that?
You're welcome.
I need to watch more of the Orville.
Anyway.
I saw one episode and I was like, ugh, but I'll watch more.
Seriously, you need to watch more of it. It's
Yeah,
hilarious.
once you get like, I think the third episode is where I'm like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah, the first couple weren't that great, but yeah.
Anyway,
Sorry.
back to Boba Fett.
Tangent.
Just my brain just
You
flashed,
darn near broke our guest. Way to go. 20 minutes into the show, he's broken. Way to go. All right.
No, my brain just flashed to Han Solo just going, Boba Fett. That's one of the things that I'm so happy they didn't exactly fix, but they took this character that had so much love and like admiration from like the expanded universe and everything, and they actually made him useful, because technically to that point in canon, Boba Fett was beat up by a blind Luke Skywalker and took credit for Darth Vader's like capturing of Princess Leia and Han Solo and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like he also did stuff in Clone Wars, but that wasn't until a little bit after.
Right.
Wasn't until
I
recently.
mean, technically before, but also after. But now we actually got to see Boba Fett being amazing, being the feared bounty hunter, but at the same time trying to be like a dad to a bunch of people and to be
Mhm.
like a respectable person. And I loved that so much.
Okay.
I have an entire thing of like going through episodes of like what I liked and whatnot, but I'll let other people
Fair.
have initial reactions first, because
Fair. Okay, Jay, what about you?
I liked Book of Boba Fett. The first 4 episodes to me felt like you said, a Western, just because it was a little slower, took time with the story. We got because again, I didn't go into it with the expectations that Boba Fett's a badass. I know Boba Fett from the movies and what we've seen so far, and to me, he wasn't. But in this show, we got to see that, what everybody thought he was, and I thought that was a lot of fun. And I love the episodes with the Mandalorian later in the back half, but I feel like it was almost a bait and switch. Like All right, we're gonna give you guys Boba Fett, but then we're gonna give you guys the Mandalorian, which is what you really want. And I like that. I liked all of that. I just wish maybe it had been its own thing, or it had been the whole series, just like little cutbacks and force. If you're gonna pull it in at the end, but there's one thing that the Disney shows have, and that's gonna be a Grogu problem because we can't have him a baby forever. And if all of these stories are just us telling his story, or Disney telling his story, then we got to get this kid aged up. He can't be cuckooing for 5 more seasons.
I'm sure they can milk that a bit longer. Or at least they will continue to, probably.
Yeah. But no, I loved the Book of Boba Fett. I even liked the Luke Skywalker. I'm like the only person in the world that didn't think that it was disjarring. I loved everything about it.
I also want to talk about Luke Skywalker so much.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, okay. We're jumping into that.
I'm just taking over as host. Yeah, go ahead and tell us about it.
Okay.
No, absolutely. I don't care.
Quick bit on it, like the whole Mandalorian jumping into Boba's thing. It did feel very much like Mando season 2.5 for a bit, but
Agreed.
it also played into like setting up for Mando season 3.
Yeah. And,
I wish they just took those episodes and made them the first like 2 episodes of Mando 3, but either way. Seeing the Luke Skywalker that I learned about as a kid was the greatest thing that has happened in a while. Like, Luke Skywalker is hands down my favorite like character in Star Wars. It's very like basic. Oh, you like the main character of Star Wars? Wow. But watching him grow from the like super immature like farmer on Tatooine to being the Jedi Master like Luke Skywalker, that was great. And then finally seeing him be the Master Jedi was amazing. I also think they did such a better job with the like the visual effects, especially since I don't remember their name, but they fixed the visual effects from Mando season 2, and then Disney saw it and then hired the person to do the effects for that. So that's why Luke looks better, because they hired someone from YouTube that made it look better.
That's really cool.
I'm glad somebody else liked Luke's picture image, because I did too, and like everybody else is like, no, but the eyes. I'm like, I didn't notice the eyes.
I mean,
I think it's, if you pause it and you really study it, yeah, there's going to be some issues. There's going to be some, like, because I did a TikTok about this on my channel with like all 350 of my followers. Yay! Anyway, but I did a TikTok on it, and to me, the CGI is always a little disconcerting. I would rather see a live action actor. I think we have options out there that could be used. Sebastian Stan. There's the body double, the performance artist body double. His name is Graham Hamilton, and he actually looks quite a bit like Mark Hamill at that age. And and then of course there's Mark Hamill's son, who looks quite a bit like his pops at that age as well. So I think there's some live action options that they could use, but I also understand to some degree why they're going with the CGI to try to maintain a look of continuity between what we saw in Return of the Jedi and what we're seeing now, because this really isn't that far past Return of the Jedi. So in the timeline.
Yeah, I think they said it's like 5 years after.
Yeah, so I mean, there has to be a little bit of aging to get him to where he's at, but he can't look like the teenage kid that we saw in A New Hope, and he can't look like the old man that we saw in The Last Jedi.
Right.
One of the things I learned about with the Book of Boba Fett is that I'm a Star Wars fan. Like, I've always identified as a Star Trek fan and somebody who likes Star Wars, but with all the stuff Disney's done, I've loved it all. Granted, the trilogy as a whole is kind of a mess, but each individual movie I loved, and I still want JJ to direct Tomb Raider because Rise of Skywalker was fantastic, in my opinion. So I realized watching Book of Boba Fett, like, oh my God, I think I'm a Star Wars fan, because I've liked everything I like Star Wars more than most Star Wars fans do, because I've liked everything Disney's put out.
Star Wars.
No, you're there's, like I said on your show on Sunday, actually that's yesterday. there's nothing worse to a Star Wars fan than another Star Wars fan.
Mhm.
So, you know, and there's nothing worse to a Star Wars fan than actual Star Wars content, because, you know, now it's not what they have seen in their brain. And, you know,
Oh.
and as being a Star Wars fan, you know, I find myself sometimes wanting to be critical of certain things, but also trying to find, you know, exactly, John. Nobody hates Star Wars like Star Wars fans. But, you know, trying to make sure that I'm finding the silver lining to whatever it is, being happy with the content that's being put out. Not that I'm accepting it being force fed to me that, oh, here, you know, here's some drivel, take this and be happy with it. I mean, there's things that I don't like about, and I highlighted this yesterday on your show. You know, there are things that I don't like about certain bits of content. There's issues that I have with the movie Solo. There's issues that I have with the movie Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. There's issues that I have with the Book of Boba Fett. Overall, I've enjoyed it, but there are things about the show and the way that it was done kind of, you know, kind of irk me a little bit, and I would like to have seen done differently. But then again, I'm not the writer, I'm not the director, I'm not the producer, I'm not the showrunner. So I can sit here from my chair and speak on it a little bit, but, you know, that's kind of what it is.
That's also like the people who criticize Olympians with the, oh, you should have done that, while they're sitting on their couch.
I love that mentality. Love. But when someone just goes, oh, I could have done better, it's like, well, why didn't you? Why didn't you spend the decades of like directing knowledge and like film experience and like script writing? Why didn't you spend decades upon decades doing all that to be in that position?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Like, that's the only reason you should have that kind of a opinion. Sorry.
One of the reasons I think Star Wars fans, it's my generation and up that seem to be the angriest at Star Wars, and I think it's because they had 20 years of hype between Return of the Jedi and Phantom Menace that they just built all this stuff up, and when it doesn't hit the way you think it's gonna hit, it makes you sad and hurts your feelings. The only real complaint I have with Disney is I wish that they had stuck to their guns with the sequel trilogy. I wish Colin Trevorrow's movie had been made, because as much as I love Rise of Skywalker, because again, JJ, direct Tomb Raider, please, I know you're watching. I thought it was a fun movie, but it did not encapsulate a trilogy. It was a direct sequel to Episode 7. It was almost completely ignored. So on that aspect, I get some trepidation, but they gave us Rogue One, which is my favorite Star Wars movie of all time. I love
Rogue One. Was amazing.
Rogue One is a beautiful movie.
I honestly think Rogue One is the best Star Wars movie, because the rest of you have, you know, the entire 9-movie saga. It's about one family. It's about these chosen ones, super powered people and everything. Rogue One is the only one where you see like the people. Oh boy, am I going to hear a thing about loving Rogue One?
No. I love Rogue One. I just don't think it's the best.
I like Rogue One so much.
Empire.
Oh, well,
Empire.
Go ahead.
That is okay. This is where we get into like what is the best and what is my favorite. Empire is obviously the best. Like, it's pinnacle Star Wars. It is what everyone points to when they go, that's Star Wars.
Sure.
But my favorite is Rogue One. So to me, it is the best, but cinematically, Empire Strikes Back cannot be beat by anything else. Star Wars.
I love Rogue One because it's classically non-Skywalker, except for the one little scenes or 2 scenes rather with Darth Vader. You know, you see him talking to Director Krennic, and then you see him killing everybody and their uncle's brother on the ship. So past that, it's pretty well Skywalker free.
What I liked about it so much is it's the one Disney product that doesn't feel like they're trying to make merchandise. Like, they just made this movie as a one movie, and they let the director make it as a one movie. There was no cop out at the end with why am I blanking on her name? Jyn Erso. I loved her as a character, and they could have copped out and found a way to get her off that planet, but they didn't. Disney stuck to their guns. They didn't worry about franchising. I mean, granted, they've gone backwards, and they're going to do an Andor series, but at the time, they were just focused on making this one good movie, and it really shows, because they let the movie end the way the movie should have ended.
Right. I would have loved to have seen Jyn Erso jump off from there, and Cassian as well, and see what they would have done moving forward, because I think there was a really cool story there that could have been told. But on the other hand, I think the story is better served by everybody dying on Scarif. the way that it was
spoilers.
supposed to. Yeah. I'm sorry. Spoiler alert.
For a
movie
movie that's what, 8 years old now?
Yeah, easily.
Oh
So-
God, it's been 8 years.
All
It
right.
came out in 2016, right? Or no?
2015 or 2016, one of the two.
It was
Yeah.
after my husband and I got married, so it's under 7. It's under 8 years. So.
No, it's 6 years. Sorry, right? Yeah, 6 years.
2016. It came out in 06.
Yeah, I can't do math.
Math is hard.
but-
I didn't have my shoes off.
The two things with that is, one, Vader absolutely should have known that he was still a dad and that his kids were alive when he made the "don't choke on your aspirations" joke. That should have been the instant, like, are my kids alive? I just made an amazing dad joke. But the thing with the Andor series is that was all fans. They begged Disney. They're like, give us this thing. We see Cassian do like one sneaky spy thing, and then he's just this, like, he's there, he does everything in Rogue One, and then he's gone. And they're like, we want more backstory. It's literally the same thing that got us Boba Fett. Which,
Right.
to throw the point back that way,
Right.
because now we're going to be a Rogue One podcast. And as
But-
much as I want to talk about it,
I'm
But
down
even in
for it.
that, like with the content that Disney has given us, it's still very, very Disney. A
Mhm.
lot of it feels very Disney. But
A lot
growing
of
up,
it's Disney-fied, yeah, for sure.
growing up being a prequel era Star Wars fan, I mean, the prequels were made for kids to get the kids into Star Wars. Star Wars has always been for children. Rogue One was the first movie that really, like, I walked out of the theater with I need to watch this again. I need to watch more Star Wars. This is great.
Right.
And I actually kind of still had that feeling with Boba Fett, with sure, this is the Book of Boba Fett with very little Boba Fett in it. But that's because they're giving backstory for whatever they're doing next. And they're not going to tell us what they're doing next, because
Right.
if they tell us, then they have to change it.
One of the points I made on Three Geeks yesterday and talking with Mike and Max and Dan was that I love the fact that they made backstory for this, and they they showed us with the the Sand People, and they showed him being ingratiated into that community, and one of the biggest parts of Star Wars that people I don't think always catch on to is the concept of found family. That is so prevalent in almost every Star Wars movie. There's found family. It's a running trope that is hit on almost every level.
Right.
But at the same time, as much as I enjoyed the backstory of Boba Fett, I mean, I've waited for years to see the hand punch through the sand. I've waited for years to have a little bit more information about Boba Fett and where he went and what he did. I also think, to some degree, if I'm looking at it with a critical eye and being honest, there are some things that were over explained and overdone. The whole thing with the Sand People, as much as I love it, I also think that could have been about half the length of what it was, and still got the point across and given more content to something else. So
I actually have a thing with that. I wish they did a little bit more.
Okay.
With the Sand People and the Tuscans, because it's very clear when, like, A New Hope came out, the Tusken Raiders were very heavily coated with, like, Middle Eastern stereotypes, like desert people, savages, things like that. And the Book of Boba Fett, to a degree, humanized them. I know they're not humans, but you get the point. That's my cousin who I need to send this helmet to.
Well,
I'm
Sean,
sorry, okay?
Sean,
it's
I will tell you.
expensive to ship.
Yes, it is a very nice blue and orange Mandalorian helmet.
Yes, it is such a great
It would
helmet.
It would look better in Red Wings red and white, but it's very nice. Islander blue and orange. But anyway, I digress.
But yeah, that's one of the things that I hate to use the term true Star Wars fans, but with what you were saying with found family, the people who don't see that, who do not see the found family, they're the ones that are like, oh, woke Star Wars, oh, trash Star Wars, oh, you're not a real fan. If, like, it's the ones who sit there and go, I can watch these movies or these shows, and that's my family. That's what I want as a family. You can watch the Clone Wars and look at every single one of them and just go, brothers. Or you can watch the Book of Boba Fett and go, he's a dad now. He's a dad now. These are his kids. That is his co-parent. Like,
not to mention the dad bod, but yeah.
The fact that he flat out just went, I'm not working out for this. I'm sticking with the dad bod.
I freaking love it.
Oh my God. That was great.
All right. So let me ask you this question about the Book of Boba Fett. At the end, and for those of you who have not watched all of it, this will be a spoiler. So at the end, the very last episode, in the post-credit scenes, we see Cobb Vanth in the back to tank.
Mm-hmm.
So where do we go from here with Cobb Vanth?
Wherever they want to.
That's what I think.
Oliphant, I don't care where they go with it. I can see that you haven't gone 2 weeks camping with them. You underestimate furry Wookieess.
Okay.
I had a friend who would take off his shirt and just be wearing a sweater. So I get that.
I had that friend too. It's like, dude, razor, maybe.
Little bit of nair, never hurt nobody.
But so with Cobb Vanth,
wrong, Tim. Wrong.
It doesn't help sometimes. It doesn't get rid of anything.
Chemical burns, and that flipping hurts. Anyway.
Oh God, what was it? Right, with Cobb Vanth, they could absolutely be setting up for like a Marshal of Tatooine show. I doubt it. I can't remember the name of the actor. I'm terrible with that kind of thing. But
Timothy Oliphant
replacing
Cart. Could.
Actually, I kind of subscribe to this, and I would love to see this happen. I would love to see because there was supposed to be the Rangers of the New Republic show, and then with the fallout with Cara Dune, that all got scrapped. With Gina Carano, not Cara Dune, but the fallout with Gina Carano and her stance on politics versus Disney's stance on politics, and just a whole bunch of crap kind of hit the floor there. I would love to see Cobb Vanth, brought back, modded, whatever, and have him be the Ranger of Tatooine. They could all just still be right there on Tatooine. It might be an interesting show.
Yeah.
Sorry, when you said that, my brain just went to Power Rangers. So I'm just imagining Cobb Vanth just pulling out his blaster and just be like, morphin' time.
No, that's the Scooter Gang.
Yes.
They are the right color.
They have the right color scheme.
There is a thing with that. I cannot remember the year, but there's a historical inspiration to them.
Right. In the late 50s, early 60s in Britain, the scooters, the more mirrors you had, the cooler you were on your Vespa.
That's not what I was referring to, but that was close.
Oh, okay. No, never mind.
There was a scooter group around that time in England that openly opposed a heavily neo-Nazi fascist biker gang in England.
Okay.
So that's where they draw the inspiration from, is these, I can't remember the name of the group, the scooter people, but they are given credit for being the first punks, and they created the punk scene.
Interesting. Okay.
So
just like the phrase scooter people.
Because
your brain either sees people on Vespas or you see a bunch of old people.
Nowadays they'd call themselves scooter boys. Anyway, that happened. Anyway,
we'll talk about that later.
We'll definitely be talking about that later.
Yeah, they draw very historical significance to the mods and how they dress, how they act, just even down to the colorful speeder bikes that really are not fast.
No.
My only real complaint about the show is that they took so much. There were so many things. They brought in Black Kirstanton. They brought in the mods. They brought in the Tusken backstory, and I feel like Cad Bane. They just it was a Star Wars buffet, and they took so much of everything that they kind of missed out on having a meal, I guess.
They left out the main character.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and trying to squeeze all of this stuff into 7 episodes too. I mean, we needed a couple more.
30 minutes long.
Yeah, keep Robert Rodriguez away from Star Wars. I'll be happy.
When I heard that they were going to be
Howard in Star Wars, though, please.
What's that, Kathleen?
keep Bryce Dallas Howard in Star Wars.
Yes, please. Her episodes
Good
are.
grief.
Oh my
Are
god.
And Danny
amazing.
Trejo, absolutely more Danny
Yeah,
Trejo.
yeah.
Yeah, where
Yes.
did he go?
Right?
Why was he in the last battle? That's what I wanted to know.
The fact that Machete showed up with a Rancor.
See, you have him, and then you have the guy from Office Space in the same
Yeah.
episode.
Stephen Root.
He stole my water. They stole my water. It's like, come on.
He took my
Like I
steak.
said, too much. There were too many things that they could have expanded more on, and I know that this is only the first. I mean, it might be the first
Yeah.
season. We don't know if we're getting another season or not. But like John says, and this was a point that John had brought out that I mentioned last week, that yes, it's the Book of Boba Fett. But if you look at other books that have been written, if you look at the Book of Mark, Mark is not the one that the book is about. And I feel like that was kind of the thing too, is that this is the Book of Boba Fett, but this is what Boba Fett wrote about.
Yeah, possible.
That does make sense. It also it would also make a little sense of like it's the Book of Boba Fett, but it's also like the introduction to his found family.
Right,
So
yeah.
him just like almost
But if
like a
this is a
diary of just
prequel-
this is how I found my family.
If it's the
So-
prequel to his book.
Yeah.
So here's a question for you guys. And John and I were talking the other day, and he put this into a little group chat that Kathleen, John, and I have about some Star Wars theories. But here's a theory that he had read, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on this, and if you think this is a possibility. Is the plan to use Grogu as a character to time jump over the sequel trilogy and pick back up the stories centuries after Rey and Finn have died?
Maybe they could also use it as an excuse because Rey and Finn are coming back. I really hope Finn gets justice because he was supposed to be a.
He got screwed so hard.
Jedi.
They ruined him, and I feel so bad.
Because
And
it
I'd
was
like
be
to
so
see-
cool.
Daisy Ridley come back too because I feel like their stories could be a little bit better as somebody who
Yeah,
liked those films.
I would absolutely love to see more of Rey Skywalker.
I'm sure they want to shoot to the future too. I mean, I'm 100% behind that. But the one thing I didn't get to say this, but forget Cobb Bane. The one thing I want from the Book of Boba Fett is the Jawa dating show. Can we get
Right?
that, please? ladies
Oh
and
my
gentlemen?
god. that'd be
Yes.
Please. Oh my god.
Amy Sedaris' character is crazy, and I love it.
Amazing.
So great.
Just the dating show and have like somebody like Zoe Deschanel as the host.
Oh goodness.
Real quick about Jawas. Does anyone know about Jot?
Mm-mm.
No, it's in the book from a certain point of view. Jot the Jawa is the only person canonically in that universe to have watched Star Wars. Jot was the Jawa who stole R2, pulled out his memory bank, and watched all of Star Wars up to the point of stealing R2 and went, oh my god, this is too important. I cannot delete this droid's memory and put it back into R2.
Oh wow.
That Jawa is the only reason why Star Wars exists, or at least the original trilogy
Weird.
exists.
I
So
never
I
remember-
Jawa-
love that story so much because I'm like, it's a Jawa who just saved the galaxy.
The Jawa is the George Lucas of the galaxy because he's
the Jawa is the
Basically,
chosen one.
yeah.
He brought balance to the Force.
That's cool.
Dating.
But back with future stuff like past the sequel trilogy, Daisy Ridley maybe might come back if they give her enough money. She said she'd be open to it, but there's literally no word from that ever since Rise of
Right.
Skywalker came out. John Boyega
That
has
ship
said
has sailed.
many times he will never ever come back to Star Wars ever again. And Oscar Isaac, he said multiple times he wished that Poe died in Episode 7. So that shows his opinion on it.
John Boyega's opinion has changed a little bit. He would return to Star Wars, but let me see. I got the quote here. Something to do with Kathleen Kennedy.
Oh,
He's
she
a-
was like gone or something.
Maybe. He's a big fan of The Mandalorian and what they're doing on television. But
Okay.
he said he might come back, but he's not as opposed to it as he once was.
Well, that's good. I don't.
Well,
I
I
mean,
think-
if they do like a Finn show, that'd be great.
I'd watch.
That's
I'd
what I want.
absolutely watch that.
Forget the
Yeah.
movies. Give us shows and keep.
I love
feeding
the-
them
I
like you
like
are.
Actually,
the.
I love the series,
miniseries.
honestly. Yeah. These series that they've done with Marvel and what they've done with what they're doing with Star Wars and these different little series, I think are fantastic, and I think it's a great opportunity to actually see not just the main character, but we get opportunities like in the Book of Boba Fett to see Cad Bane brought in. We get to see Black Chrysanthemum and a few others, so I think it's a really good opportunity there. Also, with this, we get to see, the Mando show and the Boba show have given us opportunities to see Ahsoka a little more.
Mm-hmm.
So moving forward, where does Ahsoka fit into all of this, in your opinion?
Everything. She's gonna be the one because Filoni loves her. I mean, that's his creation in Star Wars.
That's his, yeah.
Ahsoka is basically his child.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
like
a Yuzan Vong series that could be interesting.
That would be amazing. Never gonna happen.
Sorry, Nick.
I would love it if it happened. I honestly do not think it will ever happen. The Yuzan Vong are not kid friendly.
No, they're not.
I don't. Oh no.
Nick, that stash is for you. Jason just wants to know you're missed. So, yeah, I'm kind of curious to see where all this goes and see how. I'm hoping, at some point it has to happen, but I want it explained where, and I'm hoping the series does this, where Ahsoka was at during all of this. Actually, I mean, we just know that she wasn't there. There's rumors that Ezra Bridger is going to show up in the series. And there's but Taylor Gray, the voice of Ezra Bridger, has come out and said, "I want the live action role."
Yeah, and we're getting THrawn, which I'm excited about.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean,
so,
timeline-wise, he would probably be about that age. I mean, give or take where he's been in the galaxy, because we
don't know. Right. He's just him and THrawn are out chilling somewhere, having some Mai Tais and calling it a weekend. But so I'd be kind of curious to see what happens with that. I mean, it would make sense to bring Ezra's voice actor in. I mean, they did that with Katie Sackhoff to do Bo-Katan. They've done that with a couple other people. It just makes sense because it's not only the voice, but they
know the character.
They know the character. They understand it. They understand the nuances, and so it's a perfect opportunity to bring that person in. So it'd be really cool, in my opinion, to see Taylor come in as Ezra Bridger and see where that goes. So
now my question is, if we do get THrawn, who do you want to play him? Because I know my pick.
I have my pick, and I know that it's so cliche for a character like this, but Benedict Cumberbatch is the guy that I think.
Literally about to say Benny Boo Cucumber Snack, but
I love that man. That man could put out a movie where he's reading the phone book, and I would watch every minute of it and be like, "Oh my god!"
There are YouTube videos of him reading the phone book.
It's ridiculous that he does that, except for the one time he couldn't say penguin. in a published documentary that, for whatever reason, nobody went, "Huh, he's saying penglings."
Oh boy. Honestly, I'm
Cumberbatch wants to say penglings. They're gonna let him say penglings,
right?
True. I'm hoping that we see Lars Mikkelsen. He was the voice actor, and the cheekbones and everything are kind of modeled after him. So a little blue paint on, throw it on Lars, and away we go.
I mean, that would also be nice if you got both voice actors to take up the role again in live action. That'd be pretty amazing.
THrawn is just handsome Squidward.
He really is. He really is. I hate that you said that, but he absolutely is. Because I've seen a meme where they just had handsome Squidward and then the dark blue black hair, and it just said Grand Admiral THrawn. I'm like, I hate it.
Oh,
I love it, but I hate
wrecks it so greatly. It's awesome. Okay. Yeah. All right. So that's a thing. It's an unexpected thing, but that's definitely a thing. All right. So one more question for you guys.
Oh, okay. There we go. Sorry. What?
Yeah. Does Grogu become the Mandalorian? And is this
Yes.
the story, The Mandalorian, about Grogu becoming the Mandalorian now that he has chosen the Mithril?
1000% yes.
It's totally Mithril from Lord of the Rings. Don't come at me. That's what it is. Just deal with it.
If the Book of Boba Fett is a chapter in a story, the story is Holy Grogu, because
Mhm.
that's who
All
the
hail
story's
King
really
Grogu.
about. Everything seems to be revolving around him.
I think that actually is like what it's about, though Din Djarin is referred to as the Mandalorian. I think the title of the Mandalorian is about our little green friend here.
Mhm.
Like Grogu's journey to become a Mandalorian.
They have to make Grogs.
They have to make Grogu.
But there is Ryan Airy has a video on Screen Crush about Screen Rant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Whatever,
Screen Crush.
About his theory about what is going on with it, and that Din Djarin and Grogu are going to reclaim Mandalore,
Mm-hmm.
and then Grogu will end up becoming the owner of the Darksaber when Din Djarin dies, and will become King Grogu of Mandalore. So he won't need Yoda's lightsaber because he'll have the Darksaber.
I mean, it's pretty like
That could be that
But
possible.
he'll grow by then.
Yeah, he'll grow like a foot, maybe.
But still,
I'm just
we
thinking because like
We just need him to talk.
well, if you think about the beginning of Mandalorian, he was in his little floaty buggy thing, and
Right.
now he can walk. So if we're looking at he's 500-ish years old to whatever his species is, which means he was born around the same time as Anakin. He's around toddler-ish. I mean, he's still nonverbal, so I would say he's maybe like a year to a human, because it's about when my daughter started walking, but was still just incoherently babbling.
Right.
So I think in the next year or two, story-wise, he'll start talking.
Right. He definitely does not age in dog years. That is for sure. So
it definitely gets confusing age-wise because Yoda said he was like 900 when he died. So if you just
50, sorry.
scale that people years, he would be like 90, which is still pretty old.
right.
Grogu's 50. So scaling that, he's technically 5. So it's like he should be able to do a lot more. So it's like, where's the time dilation of like toddler to suddenly you're an adult?
Right. Sorry, I said 500. He's 50. But still, he is about the same age as Anakin would have been, which is
Yeah.
weird when you do the math backward. That they
Yeah,
Yeah,
actually, 'cause it's
agreed.
5 years after
they
Return
could
of
have
the Jedi.
potentially been at the Jedi Temple together if the Jedi had taken Anakin when they usually take small people.
Funnily enough,
I also want to know who saved him. I got to know. It's killing me not to know.
Right?
yeah, the symbol of Barriss was like in the hallway. So people are thinking that Barriss is still around. I doubt it.
I
I
don't think
highly
so.
doubt. Like with everything that happened with Barriss, you think Anakin as Darth Vader would let her live? She would have been the first room he visited.
Right.
Knock,
Oh,
knock,
boy.
Sith Lord here. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm
I-
pretty sure that would happen.
The comment on why Grogu can't talk, he's also been locked up for who knows how long, and you know
Right. He hasn't
For
been.
the
since
entirety
he's
of the
been with the
rebellion.
Mandalorian, he's started to do more and more and more as he's been exposed to it.
True. Yeah, I'll give you that. He's
I
been
hadn't thought
exposed to
about
more,
that.
and people are
Yes.
talking around him, and where he's been locked in just a little shell and, put
'Cause
off to the side.
If it was 5 years after Return of the Jedi, Luke was 23, so that means he was trapped in a bubble for 28 years. So like
Yeah, that totally makes sense, actually.
that's a
as he's-
lot.
I hadn't thought about that, though, that he had been isolated, and that would be part of the reason that his development would be set back. I have a cousin who was in an orphanage in China, and he couldn't walk, and he was almost 3 because he was in a crib.
Mhm.
He had no socialization. Like, they fed him. He was pretty much in a kennel, like a dog was. Like, that's, I don't know.
Ugh,
It's just
that's
weird.
sad.
It is sad. We don't want to think about the sad things, but that's what Star Wars did to Grogu. Poor little baby Gogurt. And
Yep.
before Mel Brooks dies, we need a Spaceballs 2 with baby Gogurt, please.
Don't put
Right.
that in the
God.
universe. 2022 is taking everybody.
He's like 95.
Still.
Yeah, well,
Ben
hey,
White was 99.
exactly. We got 4 more good years at least.
If I keep
Come on,
mentioning
Mel.
other people, then maybe the universe won't take Dick Van Dyke. It'll be okay.
Well, then
I mean,
you just
well,
brought
this
that
guy-
up anyway.
Well, this got sad real fast. All right,
Cool.
so
Anyway,
So here's one more rumor. We're gonna go over time tonight. I hope you guys don't mind, but that's gonna happen.
It's fine with me.
All right. So there's also current rumors about the possibility of a post-sequel trilogy, but another set of 3 movies coming on. And one of those theories is that this is going to be a new Jedi Order as founded by Rey Skywalker.
Okay. I'm
I
down.
As long as Grogu's in it, I'll watch it.
The fact
I mean,
that Filoni,
actually, yeah, if it was founded by Rey Skywalker, depending on how far in the future, that could absolutely be the case that Grogu is like a student or a teacher there.
That might be the time leap that we're looking for.
Maybe.
I absolutely want this.
But will that time leap completely eliminate the sequel trilogy from canon?
No, I don't think that'll ever happen.
If they're jumping to that point of like Rey Skywalker is the Jedi Master of that temple or whatever, then you can't delete that from canon, like because it has to be a straight line there.
Honestly,
keep 7 and 8, delete 9.
So the issues that I have with the sequel trilogy, notwithstanding, I don't want them to get rid of those movies. There are good things that come from those movies, and please, dear God, don't let the whiny crybaby fanboys win. We can't. Yeah, Disney, if you're listening, don't ever let them win. Do what you got to do. Make your movies. Don't care. Fans who appreciate the series are going to appreciate it for what it is, and we'll just move on with it from there.
Disney's just going to do what they did with the prequels and fix it. Like Rebels, they're working on making some stuff in the prequels make better sense. And you asked one of the questions in the chat, and I can't remember what it was, but I want to see Jar Jar and Obi-Wan because I want to see some kind of redemption. 1 for the actor, and 2 for that character.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Let's see the potential that he was supposed to have until Lucas gave in to fans.
All right, so here's the thing. That in Clone Wars, to where Jar Jar had I think 5 or 6 very important episodes to the plot, to where I'm pretty sure
in the animated series,
he was in. Yeah, and it was the voice actor whose name I'm terrible at remembering, but it was the actual actor who
actually Ahmed Best did do
Ahmed Best,
quite a bit of it.
There we go.
Yeah, did do quite a bit of the voice acting for him.
But with Jar Jar, I think he ended up helping Mace Windu defeat a very powerful Dathomiri witch.
Yeah.
Or at least pushed her off the planet or something. But I think that's kind of what they're doing with Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett is they're setting up for the sequels. Maybe not immediately, but they want to make sure that there's some kind of tie-in.
But making a playground for him, yeah, I think so too. And honestly, I would love to see. Jay, I agree. Even though I'm not a big fan of Jar Jar, and I've made no mistakes about that, I definitely
the first movie.
I definitely want to see Ahmed Best get some respect from the Star Wars community. He absolutely deserves it. That man, nobody deserves to go through what he went through for playing a character that he was hired to play. That's absolute crap. And yeah, I would love to see him, I would just love to see him get a chance to play a character, play an actor, and I know that he had not only through the animated series, but he also had the other Jedi show that he did, the kids show where he was, but that's not enough. So in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah.
All right, guys, just real quick before we start wrapping up here, remind everybody, Ben, where they can find you.
You can find me on TikTok at Hardy_healer.
All right, perfect. And Jason, same for you and 3 Geeks Podcast, please.
You can find me starting a Nick Stockbridge fan club at mustaches.com. And you can also find me at the 3 Geeks Podcast and at Matt Talk. And bothering my buddies Tim and Kathleen in our chat that we have on the internet.
There you go. All right. Kathleen, you want to say anything?
Not yet. I'm still playing with the lightsaber because it's fun.
I've been resisting the urge to play with my lightsaber because I'm watching you do yours. I'm just mine's very loud. I don't want to.
I just have mine muted.
You get a lightsaber to play with.
I do have one final question before we take off.
For sure.
Yeah, please.
So there is a theory that Mando season 3, Mando and Grogu are going to go to the lake under the Mandalorian mines, and he's going to try and redeem himself. There's two, technically 3 theories with this.
Okay.
1, he's going to go down there and redeem himself and take up the helm of Mandalore the Great. Or the second one, he's going to go down there, and there's going to be another sect of like Children of the Watch still under there, and they're going to like force him to get rid of Grogu, and he's going to give up on the way and like take off his armor and leave. The third theory is that they're going to find because they are thought to be extinct, they're going to find a mythosaur and keep it. So what do you all think is going to happen?
I think Grogu taming a mythosaur sounds like fun.
I know.
He can tame a Rancor. He can make a Rancor keep.
I'm hoping, I don't know that I subscribe to any of those three. What I'm hoping for is that we see, because at the end of the Book of Boba Fett, Boba makes the comment to Fennec Shan that we are not cut out for this life. And then I'm hoping that he joins forces with Mando, goes back to Mandalore, and that the two of them together do something in Mando season 3, and we see Fennec and Boba off doing things, almost doing as hired guns, working for Mando to accomplish these things. He goes down, he goes to the lake, he gets, renewed, everything's fine, and they move forward. That's what I'm hoping for.
Can we get the helmet of Mandalore the Great and a mythosaur with Boba Fett? Can we just take all of them?
Nick wants all three, so to happen somehow. So yeah,
I don't know. It's Disney. They might do all of them.
It's a possibility.
John, introduce your daughter to Henry Danger or Kid Danger, whatever the hell that show's called.
He might hear that in a couple minutes. We'll find out. So,
all right, cool.
All right. Well, that was a fun conversation. But before we actually wrap up, last Friday we had an amazing young lady on our show. She got her start on the hit Disney show Shake It Up. But the reason that you guys know her is because she spent 100 episodes as Selena Kyle on Gotham. Here's her trailer for our interview with Cameron B. Candova.
So that episode is out right now on Funny Science Fiction Podcast. You can find that on our YouTube channel. If you're watching on YouTube right now, you can just scroll down into previous episodes, or you can find that, of course, on your favorite audio podcast provider. Remember, if you haven't done it already, your subscription to our channel is a major help. So please don't forget to click the like and subscribe button as you're watching, and it's going to help us continue to grow.
Yeah, it's not that hard. I'm subscribed 7 times, so you guys can do it too, at least once.
At least once.
Fake emails and then just subscribe.
Right?
That's it.
Just exactly. Just make a bunch of spam emails. We don't even care anymore.
That's the only reason I have followers on TikTok.
There you go. But that is actually one of our fastest growing episodes right now. This thing has taken off like wildfire. People are, I'm so glad that people are really enjoying it. We had an amazing conversation with Cameron. She's a wonderful young lady.
All right. But this upcoming Friday, we have a guest that we've already talked about on the show tonight. If I were to tell you that this week's guest played a character that for some time was in the world between worlds that seemingly disappeared with Grand Admiral THrawn, would you know who it is?
Hi, I'm Taylor Gray, and you're listening to the Funny Science Fiction Podcast.
So our guest this upcoming Friday is the amazing Taylor Gray, the voice of Ezra Bridger in the animated series Star Wars Rebels. We talked to him about his work on the movie Thunderstruck that he did when Kevin Durant actually played for the Oklahoma City Thunder, and his work, of course, as Ezra on Star Wars Rebels, and a few other things as well. We had a great time with Taylor. So that episode will be coming out this Friday morning. You can, of course, watch that right here on our YouTube channel, or you can, of course, again, find it on your favorite audio podcast provider.
You guys should talk to Daniel Logan down the line, who played young Boba Fett. He's amazing.
Actually reached out to him. I'm waiting to hear back.
Oh yeah, he's amazing. We talked to him at a Comic-Con. You guys
he actually still talks to I'm terrible pronouncing his name.
Tamora Morrison.
There we go. It's always the first name that just like fries my brain.
Your brain kind of does the wait words.
The way my brain functions with words is I see the word and then I say it, and just how it's spelled fries my brain.
I can't think of it. Who played Darth Maul?
Sam Witwer?
No,
Ray Park.
Yeah, Daniel Logan and him are like super tight.
That's cool.
All right. Well, that is the Funny Science Fiction Live Edition.
That's right. Hey, I want to say thanks to Ben and Jason for coming on the show. Really enjoy your guys' insight and sharing some laughs with us. And I want to thank everybody for their comments in the comment section, and for our editor taking the night off but hanging out in the chat with us anyway. That was really cool. Nick.
To our editor and our number one fan, John Walls. But thank you guys.
John Walls. That's right. All right, guys. Thank you very much. This has been the Funny Science Fiction Podcast. On behalf of the rest of the hosts of Funny Science Fiction, we'd like to thank you for listening to this episode. If you'd like to be a guest on one of our future episodes, please contact us by means of our Facebook group, Funny Science Fiction. You can find us on Twitter or Instagram using the handle @FunnySciFi, or you can go to DraytonAllen.com and click the Contact Me link at the bottom of the page. Thanks again. Hope you enjoy.